When people talk about great shooter campaigns, the conversation usually goes straight to Call of Duty. Big explosions, big set pieces, big blockbuster moments. Hell, they even have actors over there. But for me, the best shooter campaign I've ever played is Spec Ops The Line. And the craziest part, most people still haven't even played it. Spec Ops The Line came out in 2012. By today's standards, it's an old game, an antique, a fossil. But here's the thing, because it's older, it's incredibly accessible. It runs on almost any system, it's usually pretty cheap, and the campaign isn't that long. You can finish it in about 6 to 8 hours. This isn't a massive time investment. It's a focused experience, and honestly, that makes the story hit even harder. Most military shooters focus on power. You're the hero, the mission is clear, the enemies are the bad guys, but Spec Ops does something different. It puts you in control, and then slowly makes you question everything you're doing. Even the gameplay supports that feeling. The third-person perspective keeps you close to the character. The combat feels grounded. The sand-filled environments constantly remind you that the world is unstable. The level design is showing you that you're sinking into something deeper. This is where Spec Ops The Line separates itself from almost every other shooter. Because this game isn't really about war. It's about the psychology of violence, the illusion of heroism, the cost of following orders, and the uncomfortable question, why do we enjoy games like this? As the story goes on, the tone shifts, things get darker, more personal, more disturbing, and by the end, the game isn't judging the character anymore, it's judging the player. That's something most shooters would never even attempt. Modern shooter campaigns often focus on spectacle, and there's nothing wrong with that. But once the explosions stop, there's usually not much left to think about. Spec Ops is the opposite. It doesn't rely on scale, it relies on impact. Years later, people still talk about its story, its choices, its themes, and honestly, that kind of storytelling is rarer today than it was back then, which is why this old game feels more meaningful than many modern releases. If you've never played Spec Ops The Line, here's the best part. It's short, it's affordable, it runs on almost anything. You don't need a high-end system, you don't need dozens of hours, just one weekend, and you'll experience a shooter that actually has something to say. Spec Ops The Line isn't the flashiest shooter. It doesn't have the biggest budget or the biggest marketing. But what it does have is a story that stays with you. A shooter that challenges you instead of rewarding you. And in a genre built around power fantasies, that makes it something special. And if you ever wanted a military game that makes you think, this is the one.